We're talking cuts today, Steeler Nation. My name is Jack Sperry, and you are watching Steelers Talk. It's going to be a great show. I'm going to be giving you the players that I would cut, some of the cut candidates that are being talked about that maybe I would keep, and also some of the players that I think the Steelers are going to keep, but maybe that I would cut. So we're going to dive into all of the action today. But first, go ahead and subscribe to the channel right now. We've been growing like crazy. It seems like just 2 weeks ago, we did the Gatorade Bath and we hit 20K, and now we're almost up to 21K. We've been growing like mad here over the last couple of weeks. Going into the offseason, we have some really great stuff coming up here, guys. Mock drafts every week. We got draft news and rumors, free agency targets. We got a bunch of videos coming out for you guys here over these next couple weeks. It's going to be great. And then we also got breaking news coverage for you whenever the Steelers make a cut, every time they make a trade, every time the Steelers make a move this offseason, we will have you covered. So go ahead and join the over 20,000 Yinzers in the comment section by clicking that subscribe button right now. All right, so to get things started here, this is what Spotrac.com projects the Steelers to have in terms of cap room if they make no moves right now. So they would be over the cap by $3.15 million. So that means that some cuts need to be made before the 2023 offseason. And it seems like the easiest one right now, the one that seems most likely for sure, is going to be William Jackson III, the cornerback, because you save almost $13 million for somebody that did not play for you last year. The Steelers traded for him at the 2022 trade deadline this year, but had a back injury, so he never even played. And then also, when he was with Washington, his former team, he wasn't really playing that well. And I really don't think that he is worth that $13 million cap hit. And then, the fact that you take on zero dead cap if you cut him this offseason just seems like this is a complete no-brainer for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It seems like he's going to be gone. Jerry Dulac broke the news, I believe, last Friday that the Steelers are planning to cut him. So this one is pretty easy to me. I'm up for re-upping him. I'm up for signing him to a more team-friendly deal if that's what the Steelers want to do, like maybe a $4 million contract, $5 million for like a year or something like that. But going into next year, paying this guy $13 million with his production and then also the injury problems, especially back injury problems, you don't want to spend that kind of money with somebody with those kinds of issues. So I would be up for re-upping him, but this is definitely the right move to cut William Jackson III. So let me know in the comments section right now, should the Steelers cut William Jackson III? Type C if you think they should cut him, or type K if you think they should keep him. This is the pinned comment on today's video. So whenever you get an ad break here on the show, just go ahead and go in the comment section, find that pinned comment. It'll be right there at the top, and answer today's question. So number 2 on my list, Chukwuma Okorafor. You save $10 million here if you cut him post June 1st, and really, I think this one's a no-brainer too. I know that Chucks has his supporters out there, but plain and simply, guys, his contract is getting too bloated. It really is. He only had a 61.2 PFF grade last year, which was 64th in the National Football League among offensive tackles. He was the lowest graded offensive lineman on the Steelers O-line, and the Steelers O-line wasn't fantastic this year either. And if he gets cut, you can save about $10 million. I think it really makes more sense to go after someone in free agency or in the draft to replace left tackle, and then move Dan Moore Jr. over to right tackle to replace Okorafor. Right now, you're paying too much money for somebody that was your worst offensive lineman in 2022, and I'd rather have that $10 million to spend on other free agents and re-signing players than keeping Okorafor and having less money to spend in free agency. I think I would rather have that $10 million than opposed to paying $13 to have Chucks on the roster. Steelers Talk is sponsored by Athletic Greens. I take AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day. I'm drinking it this morning throughout my morning. Get comprehensive and daily nutrition at athleticgreens.com/chatsports. I gave AG1 a try because I wanted more sustained energy throughout my day and wanted a supplement that actually tastes great. I take AG1 in the morning and it makes me feel ready to take on my day. AG1 combines all of your key health products in one convenient and tasty beverage. And in my line of work, sometimes you have to put in long hours, so AG1 helps me feel energized and sharp so I can be at my best no matter how busy my schedule gets. covering my nutritional basis for the day. Literally couldn't be easier, which is why I trust Athletic Greens. I just mix 1 small scoop of AG1 with 12 ounces of water and drink it first thing in the morning. Done. I also like that it costs less than $3 a day, which, to be honest, is pretty good if you ask me. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality sourced ingredients, which is a win-win for you. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplemental routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. That's athleticgreens.com/chatsports. Check it out. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. All right, the next name on my list here is Mitchell Trubisky, the backup quarterback. I think this one's pretty easy because the team can save $8 million by cutting him. Right now, if you want to talk about bloated contracts, this guy as a backup quarterback would be completely bloated. Yes, you take on $2.5 million in dead cap space by cutting him, but you also save $8 million. You can use that money to spend on another backup quarterback, maybe an inside linebacker, maybe a cornerback, maybe an offensive lineman. I just think that Mitchell Trubisky, keeping him on the roster at his current contract, which is kind of like a mid-tier, low-end starter kind of contract. I don't want him on the team for that. I'd rather have the $8 million in cap savings. And then, you could use this money on a potential future backup. And here are some of the options that are going to be free agents coming up here in the offseason. Jacoby Brissett, I think, is pretty interesting. He seems like a Mike Tomlin kind of guy, someone that can come in, operate this kind of offense, Matt Canada's offense, and kind of take on the role and win football games if Kenny Pickett, God forbid, got hurt. Then Baker Mayfield, Teddy Bridgewater's another option, a really good, solid option that's won games as a backup. Mike White showed some good things this year in New York as well. And then also Josh Dobbs, man. He's Steelers legend. Josh Dobbs, bring him back. Why not? Especially if you can get him on a good team-friendly deal. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing Josh Dobbs back at all. Let me know in the comments section which quarterback would you like the Steelers to bring in to be the next backup quarterback to back up Kenny Pickett. For me, I like Jacoby Brissett or Josh Dobbs. I think that either one of those guys would be solid options for the Steelers. I think Brissett might be a little bit more expensive than Dobbs, but I think it could be worth it. Next name on my list, these next 3 are kind of easy targets here, easy cut candidates. Montravius Adams, $2.5 million you can save by cutting him. He was not good this year. I think the Steelers are going to be looking to upgrade their nose tackle position. Adams and Alualu just didn't get the job done this year. They're going to be looking to upgrade. Montravius Adams is an easy cut candidate for me. Next one, Gunnar Olszewski. You can save $2 million if you cut him here. I just don't really feel like he's a very good wide receiver. I think he's an okay gadget player on jet sweeps, and he's okay in special teams. But at the end of the day, he doesn't have great hands. He's not a great route runner. I really don't think he's a good NFL wide receiver, so I'd rather take the $2 million and spend that somewhere else in free agency. And then finally, Myles Jack, decent special teams player. He had a block punt this year, right? He can make a splash play maybe like once a season on special teams, but I don't think he's going to be hitting the field on defense as a safety. I don't think that he's good enough. I just don't think he's getting the job done. I think you can take the $2 million in cap savings there, let him go. I don't think that he's worth keeping on the roster, in my personal opinion. So after these cuts, the Steelers would have about $34.1 million to spend in free agency, re-signing players, bringing in guys in free agency, and actually 34.1 is actually not that much, to be honest with you. Like, they're going to have to really be frugal with how they spend their money in free agency if this is the amount, because the Steelers have a couple players they need to address and re-sign, but I'll get to those in just a second. But go ahead, and if you have a question about the Steelers offseason, about the draft or free agency, if you have an idea you want to run by me, go ahead and interact with me on Twitter or Instagram. I am at Jack_Sperry on Twitter, and I am at SpareDogFootball on Instagram. Go ahead, give me a follow, interact with me, shout me out. I will give you a response. Usually it takes me about a couple hours because I am busy here at work, but I love talking Steelers with you guys, so go interact with me on social media today. So these are the guys that I'm planning on keeping, or at least that I think the Steelers are going to try to keep. Myles Jack, you could save $8 million by cutting him, so that's really tantalizing, especially because he didn't have a great grade PFF-wise this year. Ahkello Witherspoon, you can save $4 million. He did not have a good season this year, but he dealt with injuries. Levi Wallace, $4 million, and then Arthur Maulet, you could cut him and save $2.5. So let's start with Myles Jack here. You look at the linebacker room for the Steelers, the situation, Devin Bush is a free agent. Robert Spillane is a free agent. I mean, it's going to get pretty sparse in there, and you kind of feel like the Steelers want to keep Myles Jack in there, to have somebody that's had a presence in that space, that knows the defense, that can be a good leader for that space. So I think that they'll want to keep him in there. But then you look at the cornerback room. You got Ahkello Witherspoon, Levi Wallace, and Arthur Maulet. All of those guys are going to be, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. They could cut a couple of them, but I really think, guys, that they're going to try to keep this defense, for the most part, together, because when TJ Watt was on the field last season, they were arguably the best defense in football. Ahkello Witherspoon's had some good seasons. He was hurt this past year, so it's hard to put the blame completely on him and say that he sucks now, because he was dealing with a hamstring injury. Levi Wallace looked a lot better towards the end of the season. I think the Steelers are going to try to keep this group together so that they can continue to have success moving into 2023. I don't think that the Steelers are a team that really makes big-time, flashy moves, like going and get Jalen Ramsey, for example. I don't think that's going to happen this year. I think they're going to try to keep this group together for the most part, and I'm really excited to see what they will do in terms of re-signing. And speaking of that, tomorrow we are going to be covering which players that I would re-sign, or at least that I think the Steelers are going to re-sign next year. So if you're interested in that, come by tomorrow's video and make sure to subscribe turn on notifications so you know when we put out that video, guys. Like I said before earlier in the video, we have you covered on breaking news coverage. So if there's breaking news, like if the Steelers cut somebody tomorrow, we are going to be doing a video on that. So go ahead and click that subscribe button. We got daily Steelers news and rumors contact, mock drafts every single week. We got a bunch of stuff. So if you want the comprehensive Steelers experience this offseason, go ahead and click that subscribe button. And okay, guys, yesterday we did a little bit of competition. We tried to break the record on the channel for the most comments on a single video, most unique comments, and we broke it, and it was I hope I'm saying this right, Declan C. If I'm mispronouncing that, sorry about that, man, but thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Huge shout out to you. He put up 121 unique comments on yesterday's video, which is a channel record. We unfortunately didn't win the competition, the Chat Sports competition yesterday, but we put up over 1,000 comments on the video yesterday. Thank you to everybody that took time out of your day to put in comments for the show. We really do appreciate it, and congratulations to Declan C for breaking the channel record. And you guys know the drill. You can always break this record. Somebody could go in there right now and put in 122 if you want. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me today. I appreciate you, Steeler Nation. I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.